Hi, and welcome back to Pathwise Live. Today we're talking about how to reinforce behaviors, specifically the behaviors you want to have in your life. I'll be your host today. My name is Tim Bradley. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and author of the training guide, Creating a Life I Love. You know, behaviors refers to more than just your physical actions. The word behavior refers to the way you think, the behavior of your feelings or emotions, as well as your physical actions. Habits are simply behaviors that have been reinforced repeatedly until they become automatic or unconscious responses. Your brain has been trained and it's capable of being retrained to create new habits of thinking, feeling, and acting. However, your brain does not discriminate between an interfering behavior or an effective behavior unless you tell it to. If you want to decrease ineffective or eliminate ineffective behaviors, then you want to first interrupt whatever's reinforcing them. Second, replace them with desired behaviors. And third, repeat and reinforce the desired behaviors until they become automatic. This process is most powerful if done when the interfering behavior usually occurs, but it can also be effective if practiced as if it's about to occur. In other words, your brain doesn't know any different. You can practice 100 times in your head as if it's already happening, and it's like practicing in reality 100 times. In this session, you'll learn how to use 8 basic methods to effectively decrease or eliminate interfering behavior and turn your desired way of being into habit. Here's a takeaway. Any behavior performed and rewarded often enough will become automatic. Okay? So just in review, we want to go back to your created way of being. First, you create a way of being that inspires, excites, and moves you. Then you choose emotions, thoughts, and behaviors that match who you're creating yourself to be. Practice and adjust your created way of being throughout the day, and keep practicing until your created way of being becomes automatic. So you want to practice responding to situations throughout the day with thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that match your created way of being. So today we're going to be talking about 8 behavior contingencies. A contingency just means if then. If you do this, this will happen. We're going to look at elimination, punishment, negative reinforcement, extinction, learning a new skill, putting the unwanted behavior on cue, positive reinforcement, and natural motivation. So let's take a look at the first one, elimination. Sometimes the most effective way to avoid a problem is to eliminate its source. It does nothing to change your behavior, it just takes it out of the environment. It's an option after you've tried everything else. Some examples are firing someone or getting fired, quitting a job, divorcing, ending a relationship, or removing certain items from the house, etc. Punishment is the second one. Punishment occurs whenever you inflict pain on someone or something, some kind of pain, or take something away prior to or immediately following the behavior. Most people use punishment unwittingly. They use it as a primary method to change because that's all they've ever known. You should know that punishment does not change behavior. It merely suppresses it or forces it underground as long as the pain or threat of pain is present. If you're not sure that what I'm telling you is the truth, just look at the prison system. Oh, it's punishment all the time, and obviously everyone in there has changed their behavior. Well, I wish that were the case. It's not. Once punishment is stopped, the behavior is likely to come right back. Another major problem with punishment is that using it focuses your attention on the negative behavior or the interfering behavior more than it does the desired behavior. Consistent use of punishment can trigger a cycle of negative emotions, such as anger, fear, guilt, or shame. So you want to avoid this method as a primary way of changing behavior. Examples are cause pain, scold, spank, yell, take something away, impose fines, make threats, etc. The third type of behavior contingency is called negative reinforcement. This works by creating an unpleasant stimulus and keeping it present until the desired behavior occurs. For a change in the behavior must take the unpleasant stimulus away. If the desired behavior occurs and the unpleasant stimulus doesn't go away, it's simply punishment, and it doesn't work to change behavior. An example of a negative reinforcer is giving a child timeout. If the moment your child produces the desired behavior, you set them free from timeout, it works. In other words, you don't do timeout with a child for however many years you figure, then that's how many minutes. No, that's arbitrary and punishing. If you want timeout to work, you say, here's the behavior, the language, or whatever I'm looking for from you. And when you produce it, when you're ready to tell me what it is I want you to do, and explain to me how you're going to do it, then you're free. And then as soon as they do that, you let them go. For most of us, it's whenever we say something like, I got to do X, Y, and Z, and as soon as I'm done, I'm going to do something special for me. That's negative reinforcement. The fourth type of behavioral contingency is extinction. This works by ignoring the interfering behavior as if it's not occurring at all. Remember, it has to be completely ignored. You can't say, I'm ignoring you, because then you're not ignoring it. If done correctly, the ignored behavior will at first increase in intensity. It's known as an extinction burst. Eventually, the behavior will cease for lack of reinforcement, like a candle burning out for lack of oxygen. The fifth type of contingency is to learn a new skill. So you learn, repeat, and reinforce a new behavior or skill. You want to choose the desired behavior or replacement behavior that you want, then practice and reinforce that behavior in the same setting where the undesired behavior occurs. So it's the replacement. And then you continue to practice that behavior until it becomes automatic. The sixth contingency is called putting an unwanted behavior on cue. So this is a fun one. It's another name for it. You may have heard is reverse psychology. For instance, you choose a time to do the interfering behavior on purpose and on your command or cue. Planning the undesired behavior on purpose is sometimes enough to interrupt it. Our brains often want to do the opposite of what we plan. So when the time comes to do the unwanted behavior, we'd usually do something else. The seventh contingency is positive reinforcement. Here you provide a rewarding stimulus during or immediately after the desired behavior occurs. Now, this is critical. If you want positive reinforcement to work, don't wait 3 or 4 days. Okay, do this and next week we'll do something. That's not a very strong reinforcer. To be really strong, it has to be in the moment or just before or just after you do the behavior. So when you reward yourself immediately following a desired behavior, the pleasure centers in your brain are stimulated. So you get all the sweet, different pleasant chemicals reacting in your brain. Your brain literally then creates new neural pathways, which makes it easier to perform the behavior the next time. The more often you reinforce the behavior, the more automatic it becomes. So to be most effective, the reward you choose must be able to be given during or immediately after the desired behavior occurs. You want to restate your created way of being. If you're not excited and inspired by it, change it until you are. So it is that excitement that you give to it that naturally is a reinforcer. And then smile and do something with your body, like snap your fingers, clap your hands, or do a little dance. Sit up or stand up straight, whatever it takes to immediately reinforce yourself. And remember what we said last week, smiling immediately triggers in your brain all the good feeling chemicals. So do this at the same time you're creating the new way of thinking, feeling, or behaving, and eventually it will become automatic. Finally, our eighth contingency is natural motivation. You want to determine what naturally motivates you and then use those natural motivators to reinforce desired behaviors. You want to choose thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that match who you create yourself to be and satisfy your natural motivators. Did you know you have natural motivators? Everybody does. Everybody has things that naturally move them, and according to the research, it's genetic. It's already hardwired in your brain. So here's some natural motivators: acceptance, the desire for inclusion; curiosity, the desire for knowledge; eating, the desire to consume food; family, the desire to raise one's own children; honor, the desire to be loyal to parents and heritage; idealism, the desire for social justice; independence, the desire for self-reliance; order, desire for organization. Now, as you look through these lists, you want to ask yourself, is it a 1, 2, or 3? 3 is the highest. And the 3s are the ones that really count. So figure out what is the natural desire of your heart, or what we call your natural motivator. The rest of the list is physical activity, the desire for exercise of muscles; power, the desire to influence or control; romance, desire for sex or beauty; saving, the desire to collect things; social contact, the desire for companionship; status, desire for social standing; tranquility, the desire for emotional calm; or vengeance, the desire to get even or win. It's a competing desire. So again, remember what motivates you the most, and when you create your way of being, make sure that that way of being satisfies your most intense natural genetic desires or motivators. Pathways can help you replace your interfering behavior and teach you how to think, feel, and behave the way you want to in just 4 to 6 sessions. So please check out my website, products and services, and appointment calendars. If you want to make an appointment, all you got to do is click the appointment calendar, and you don't have to pay or do anything right away. You can find out if that's what you want to do. If you're having traumatic issues, you want to check with us, and we can help. My video series will take you step by step through the process that we're talking about in these videos, and provide evidence-based skills and exercises to help you create a life you love. So next on Pathways Live, we're going to talk about how to radically accept. Not just accept, I mean really accept. So I want to thank you for watching, and have a great day.